Yeah, like I always say, we love winning on Rooney Field. We love playing in front of the fans and the alums. I saw so many former players, and they were dialed up for play Robert Morris because they all played him back when they played, and so we always enjoy playing this game. It's always a tough game, and very very proud of our team, all three phases, the way they played today.
Questions for Coach?
Coach, I wanted to talk to you about like the discipline of your team. Obviously, things can get kind of chippy in games like this. Crosstown rival. There were some plays. There was a late hit on Irby. He didn't really retaliate. Miller, someone got in his face, kind of put his hands up. To me, that kind of tells me the discipline about this team and the culture that you built. So just talk about how proud you were about how boys, everyone stayed, and using that aggression they might have to make football plays, not extracurricular.
Absolutely. You noticed that. I did too. I thought it was extremely important, and I'm really proud of them. I heard some other things too that you might not have seen, and went right up to our guys and said, "You're more focused on winning this football game and helping this football team than yourself," and that's outstanding for our guys to have that discipline and want to do what's best for the team. Because you want to play on the edge, and these guys all want to talk at each other, but you can't push it over the edge. I thought we did a good job today.
Irby and Darius obviously had it going. What did you guys see in that matchup that you were able to exploit so well?
They were. I mean, they changed some things up there. They were playing a lot of one high through the season and giving us a little bit of two high, I imagine, because of our past game. So we started out running the ball, but as they started to match up again, we had some. Coach Doria does a good job. Coach Schmitt, the receiver coach, Doria is our coordinator, dialing up some things that create matchup problems for some of their guys. Because when you're going to play man and you got three receivers, your linebackers, your safeties got to come down and cover Irby, and sometimes that's tough for those guys.
So it's been a while since you guys have played RMU, and their head coach came in here just now post-game talking about how great of a game it is and how it'd be great to move it to a neutral site and just the energy of this game. How was it just down on the field, just seeing the energy level, and what did you see? Did you see the same thing?
Yeah, it's always been that way. I mean, I was a part of 2005 to 2019, probably 15 of them or so, so it was always that way. Great, have him back in the conference. He's talked to me about playing a game at a neutral site or something like that. I said, well, you let me know wherever. It doesn't matter to us. We'll play. Yeah, I think it's awesome. Two teams just 20 minutes away from each other play against each other.
Jerry, you never know what the result is, of course, and until the game's over. What can you talk about? What did this do for you now, this result? This was a dominating game, and you're at this point in the season. You still got 2 games left, but what do you think of this game?
I was impressed with our team, the way they prepared. I was really impressed with our practice this week. And like we talk about the rivalry, I wasn't sure if any of our guys knew about the Robert Morris rivalry. In the old days, that was immediate. You didn't have to get their attention. I think we have one player that was on the team in 2019. AJ Haggard. Tim Lowry, who's injured for us. So I wasn't sure what these guys, but they practiced really with a pace about them and an intent about them, preparing for this game. And it's probably because it's for first place. And we talked about it really, realistically, in the conference, every week is a playoff game right now. You can't lose. You got to keep playing and keep winning, because the last 3 weeks of the season are all 3 good teams, all 3 at the top half. And so they took that on themselves, and the staff prepared them really well. And for me, I'm just so proud that these guys came out and played like they practiced. They're prepared. Because I tell them all the time, you're very talented. You got a lot of athletic ability, but you got to play smart and execute. And if you do, you're a pretty darn good football team.
Coach, you guys won the toss, elected to receive, and then you went on to have a pretty dominant first drive. Was that kind of the goal? You wanted to set an aggressive tone early? Is that why you wanted the ball first?
Yes. We've talked about it recently. Early in the season, we would defer a number of times. We've gone back and forth, both sides of the ball. But we felt if we could establish offensively, moving the football, and that the defense gets pretty fired up when our guys do that on offense. And so it worked out for us.
And could you also talk about the line, offensive line, defensive line? You guys were really pushing the six, getting real physical, just kind of manned up to win the games. Just talk about the line.
Yeah, we talked about not, being physical, being more physical than the other team for 60 minutes too. That was the thing. You can go out right away and play with some emotion for a couple series, but our guys did it relentless through the entire game. I got to give those guys a ton of credit. They defensively dominated that line, and offensively, I don't know if you know, we went out in the second half with 3 starters injured, did not return. So we already had Tommy Brand out. So we basically are down 4 starters in that second half. So we had to be a little creative. We had to say, get the ball out of our hand. But we kind of ran the ball. I didn't look at the stats. I felt like we ran the ball effectively in that second half with 4 guys, starters out. It's impressive for Coach Sonoff. It's impressive for that collective group. It was similar to what happened at Youngstown. These guys prepare and know that they might have to get in a game and play.
Coach, Ty Howard had his 4th straight game with a turnover day, and Dunkley had 3 sacks. I mean, can you kind of just touch on their performances individually?
Ty Howard just is a really good athlete. He's gotten so much better in understanding his role and schemes and what's going on. And he's been pretty fortunate. Balls have been tipped, but he's that kind of athlete that, he's in the right place at the right time because he's athletic and gets to where he's supposed to. I think it's great. I still think he's got a lot of growth. He's a really good football player, but he's got a lot of growth left. He can get so much better. And Dunkley's just super person as well as football player. I don't know if you got a chance to talk to him. Is he coming in for an interview? He's a super nice young man that works his tail off. He will be a future leader if he isn't already. He's not a captain, but in that sophomore class, he's the leader in that class. I love him, and he's very talented.
Are there lessons to be taken from last year and how difficult it was to lock up in those last couple weeks to lock up the NEC, and now you guys are in that same position where you control your own destiny?
Absolutely. Yeah, our guys will understand that. That's what's great. We have a number of guys, obviously, from last year's team. We had a bunch of new guys. But I told them last night in the meeting, we have experience. We have leadership. Only helps if we use it to our advantage. And I thought today we really did.